Hi friends! I don't have the retro palette. It's on her way, but I thought in the meantime we can cover other Natasha Denona palettes that have similar shades and go over the inspo analysis behind retro based on what Natasha has said in her videos and such. But if it's your first time here, hi! I'm Alicia, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. This was entirely my fault because I was at Maddie's house toggling between should I order it, and if I do, will it end up at Maddie's, will it end up at my house? I then decided it's best for it to be sent to my house so I can do all the comparisons because all the Natasha Denona palettes are in my house. But instead of purchasing it when it went on pre-order, I think I waited like a day and a half. It ended up in this convoluted route that I can't even keep track, and apparently the destination facility it is now residing in is closed till Tuesday. And I was stressed because I really wanted to dive into it, to the video for you guys, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go over the other palettes because that's what I was gonna do anyway. So maybe it's for the best. We'll still do comparisons when retro finally arrives, who knows at this point, but the palettes that struck me within the Natasha Denona family as worthy comparisons, definitely the Star palette, the Love palette, and what I thought retro to be the new Lila. I would highly recommend that you go to Natasha Denona's highlights, where not only does she cover the swatches, but she also goes over the inspiration behind retro, as well as a video you can find on her main feed diving deeper into those inspo details. Now I did something dumb. I ordered mini retro because I thought I didn't have it, but I actually do. This is what happens when you buy too much makeup. You forget what you got. So this is the midi that the mini retro is based off of. And hold on, let me grab my notes. And when you see mini retro, I think you gravitate, or I immediately did, towards the green taupe shades. And Natasha even said this herself. She saw the comments and people were expecting more greeny taupey grays in retro, and retro is full of the taupes, the mauves, and the burgundies. And Natasha had wanted to make what she says a nude mauve version of glam, which I have here. So this is the glam palette. It's mostly cool neutral, so she wanted retro to be the mauve cool version of glam, an extension of the pink mauves here. So if we were to take out the greens, these are the colors that retro is an extension of. And she even said herself, sometimes, you know, maybe the big palette comes first, the mini palette comes first, depending on where she's at. These are the colors that inspired her to go the burgundy mauve route, and Natasha wanted retro to have more neutral taupes with mauves, cool tone taupes with the neutral taupe, she said. And in her live video, she had said that retro's not done, that she might dive in to the greens, so we might get whether a big palette or a midi with the green taupe story. So it's not done. I think people, you know, I understand if you were expecting the greens to come first in retro, but apparently Natasha's not done with the retro collection. She might come out with, who knows, a bigger palette like the Lila. Maybe she'll come out with a midi version. I would love if she did the midi version of the khaki taupey green stories. And that's something I admire of Natasha, how she can create these elaborate color stories from like one shade. It's like a gradient, I think, where you see in painting stores or what have you. And all those nuance of colors, I think, occur in the retro palette. So I'm going to quickly swatch these shades from mini retro. We have Vintage Taupe, which is found in Tropic. Yeah, so we got this taupey pink here. And Pixie, which I think there's like a baby pink, cool baby pink. I'm going to turn on this light because it's a little cloudy outside. It was a beautifully shiny, cool pink with the champagne shift found in the bigger retro that I can't wait to dive in. And then you have 60s, which is the new shade in the mini retro. I cannot wait to see an extended version of that shade. And Galaxia is the chroma crystal shade that is found in the Star palette. I believe Psychedelic is the shade in Retro that has the same formula as Galaxia, which is the pressed chroma crystal, again found in Star palette. And believe it or not, I don't know if Natasha changed her mind, but at the time, this was the Star palette, Natasha Denona's favorite palette. Galaxia is found here. 112K. And this is the palette that the pressed chroma crystal formula debuted in. Are they the same? I feel like the Galaxia is, well, I had the Star palette for a while. Did I really though? The Galaxia I found in Mini Retro, I think shinier, and it has like a different sparkle arrangement in there. Maybe she improved on the formula from where it debuted in Star. But this is from Star and this is from Mini Retro. And the reason I thought about Star was because people were like, I wish it had more grays, gray taupes in there. Perhaps the reason she did that was if she wanted Retro to be the mauve sister to Glam. Glam is already coming at you with the taupey grays and the cooler browns and neutral browns. So I get why maybe she didn't include those shades in Retro, because it would have been redundant. And people say that it's still redundant anyway. But if you wanted to combine more berry-like shades with grayish taupes, you have an opportunity here in Star. It's not extensive, but you know, it's there. This was also the palette that she introduced her new creamy matte formula, and before in her 28 pan palettes. And I think even Lila, did this come after Lila? I forgot. The mattes were pretty good. They were on the drier side. So she was really excited to introduce this new creamier matte formula that if you watch her YouTube video, she had said that these have more stick to the skin and they don't have as much fallout because of that creamier consistency, but in a powder form. Now, here's some Natasha Denona trivia for you. Which palette did the cream to powder formula debut in? And the year. I'm waiting. Just comment down below with your answer, please. It took me a while to figure out. I'm like, was it gold? No. It was the 2017 holiday limited edition Joya and Aries palette. Do you remember these? Oh my gosh. And these recently, well, I don't know how recent anymore, but they went on major sale, the duo, for like, what was it, like $48? It was like a 2-for-1 thing. Unfortunately, my shade, the Star Bronze shade from Joya, I think this one's, yes, broke, but it's okay. The holiday palettes from October 2017 are the ones that the new cream to powder formula debuted in. She introduced this in the metallic formula as well as the more like satin finish. So in Aries, oh my gosh, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. We got a casualty, fam. I'm trying to be as careful as I can. We can still make this happen. Yes, I'm trying to smoosh it in. Oh, I got Galaxia on my leggings. This video is going well so far. I'm going to keep this close just for safety's sake. So this shade here, Ice Blue, is cream to powder, as well as Peach Bronze, as well as Nude, the one that just fell out. Natasha wanted a formula that would apply like a powder, or set like a powder but apply like a cream in terms of blendability. I think Natasha believed this consistency would be welcome by beginner makeup artists or makeup enthusiasts who maybe found it tough to blend powder shadows, powder textures. But if you have the smoothness and sleekness of a cream but still it dried down like a powder, then yes, that's definitely best of both worlds. And Ice Blue, I mean, it feels so moussey in the pan, but again, it applies once it hits the skin like a powder. And I believe it's Joya that has the gold shade in cream to powder as well as fuchsia. Is it this way? Yes, it is. Yes, I'm reading it backwards. So fuchsia, although not like Ice Blue, it has like that almost wet moussey texture in pan. And when you apply it on your skin, it blends like a cream, but again, sets like a powder. And I think that just makes it for a smoother blend. It's a lot easier. They're not as impactful as her creamy matte formula like you saw in Star, but you can build, and I think that's what people appreciate, especially with shades like a fuchsia shade that could be wham bam if it's a powder, but if it's the cream to powder formula, you'll have an opportunity to build it, to layer it, to blur those edges so it could look beautifully diffused on the skin and skin-like in finish. I thought I had cranberry. I just might. I don't know where it is. Kind of sad about it though, but it's okay. And the 3 repeat shades found in Retro originally found in Lila. Now, Natasha herself said that Lila is discontinued. It's still available in some places, not all. The last time I checked, which was last night, Lila was still available on NatashaDenona.com if you still want it. I know some people that bought backups, okay? They're really intense about it. Nude Mauve, Helio, and Amara. Natasha said that these are like in her top favorite shades of all the shades that she has produced, and she wanted to bring them back. And I thought, ooh, I was waiting for a midi Lila. I don't know if she had in mind that Retro would replace Lila. I don't think so. I think she could do Lila again in midi form. Why not? Or maybe she just wants to abandon this story altogether and stick with Retro. I get it. But Nude Mauve, like this shade is just one of the most beautiful out of the entire Natasha Denona collection. Just look at it. It's so unique in that it's not too cool, not too neutral. It just has like that. It's a mauve, but not taupey. It's very hard to explain. I hope you could get what I'm saying. Helio is Natasha's true metallic formula, beautifully shiny. It's like this. I can't even explain it. Wait, no, I have my notes. Yes, you can. You wrote it down. A metallic taupe nude. I agree. Definitely metallic taupe. And next to Nude Mauve, forget it. And Amara, the other repeat, is the matte medium cool vintage rosewood. This is just, you know, where am I going to put this? I'm running out of room. Even still, as old as this freaking palette is, look at that. Amazing. Nude Mauve too, an amazing swatch. And people had said the Retro palettes is a more subdued version of Love. And I agree. Love is giving you stronger silver, purple alongside with the reds and the pink. So this is a lot bolder. This still might be on sale. Don't know if it's available still on Sephora. Coral, not quite the same, a lot warmer. And I wish I had cranberry to kind of show and maybe analyze where that color story was going. But Natasha did say herself that Retro is true cool neutral, is not warm. It might have shown more warm online when the sneak peeks and the whatevers went on the internet. Yes, because burgundy can look very berry toned, but I think when I get it in person, it will appear cooler overall, which I'm happy that she did, because I think Natasha generally has majority of her portfolio is warm. Maybe. Nice that she did cool, but with the burgundies and the mauves. You know, I realized that I put all my makeup on, but I did not apply concealer. That must have looked insane while I was chatting away. So I've actually been using my Pat McGrath concealer for eye priming because I forgot my primer when I was at Miati's. But since I've been using it, I kind of like what it does. So I've just been sticking to it. I don't use a ton. I think that's key, that if you are relying on your concealer for eye primer, that you don't overload the lid with concealer, because I think that can negatively impact the longevity of your shadows. You know what? I want to put on some I Need a Nude from Natasha in Amorosa. Do I have? Yes, I should have. Let's see. Noah liner that I need to sharpen. Shame on me. I'm very warm on the face, and Amorosa is a little cool tone. It's okay. It's fine. All that chattity chat out the way. Why don't you come in a little closer? That's enough. What shall we go in with first? Well, you know what? Let's dive in back to Mini Retro and set up our makeshift retro look with Vintage Taupe, which is found again in Tropic. Using my Bisioro eyeshadow 1 brush to whip in Vintage Taupe. And why don't we set up this eye with some Nude Mauve from Lila's. Oh, Nude Mauve. How I've missed you so. To this day, one of my most favorite shades from Natasha. And now let's hop into Star quickly. This might be a mistake, but you know what? I'm going to try it anyway. With Diadem. Is this going to overwhelm? It might. It just might overwhelm Nude Vino a touch more than I would like. So I'm going to take a fluffier brush. This is my Chikuhoro Kazan brush. It's very light and fluffy, the KZ06. Just lightly brushing on the inner part of the lid. So you see how much more gray that is? And then I'll let Nude Vino whoosh through the majority of my crease. What do I want to apply on this side? Well, you know what? Why don't we go in with Amara? You know, when we get retro, I'm going to do all the mashups because that's just how it goes. Amara now from the original Lila, still with my Kazan brush. I'm going to just punch it on, oh yes, the outer part of this lid with Vintage Taupe, and then use the brush to fan out the edges. I underestimate this brush. It's squirrel hair, but it picks up a lot. And it's a bigger brush compared to your, I think, standard size shader. Although shaped like one, doesn't lay down like a small shader at all. More Vintage Taupe here to feather the edges of Amara. To punch up a little bit of, you know what, I'm gonna go back into Joya and use, which color is this? Red Grape. Not the same, but we're gonna see. Many of you had asked what would be the best hair blend for Natasha's cream to powder formulas. I think Psycho Goat will be best in the natural hair category, but if you're into synthetic, I actually really like the La Fuga del Gato Koyuro brush here. That, if I could freaking find it. Let's see how this picks up. I'm gonna go in Red Grape, yeah, and on the very outer part of the lid. Not too bad. Lays down nicely, so there you go. I'm just gonna put it on the whole lid. I'm gonna put on the whole lid. And then Galaxia from Mini Retro on the inner corner. Now, these Chroma Crystal shades, you know what? I'm gonna have to do this on the other eye. I could use Pat's Intensify, see how that goes. Although Natasha does recommend that you use a finger with the Chroma Crystal formula because I think you just have better stick. But that's really pretty over Fuchsia from Joya. I'm just cleaning up the edges here. What can we do for the lower lash line? Maybe you want to introduce, we could do Helio from Lila using the same La Fuga brush under the lash line here. I'm going to bring it all the way through. Actually, I'll pull in some fuchsia from Joya because I want that to be a little bit of a flow, you know what I mean? Taking my Sonia G Lotus Builder over Helio and then bracketing the outer part of the lid so it doesn't look like it comes to it and it rubs top. That was hard to get out, my goodness me. Going back in with Helio. And now what Natasha likes to do after she lays down like the major colors is use one of her mattes to further blend out. So I'm going in now with the Kazan 07, much smaller than the 06. Back in with Nude Mauve from Lila's and now blurring the edges of the shadow here on the lower lash line. And I like to bring it pretty low. You don't have to do so. If it happens to travel low, then whatever brush you use for your concealer blending, without extra product, just tap the edges because the brush might actually have leftover product from that last application to just do a little cleanup. Now for this eye, maybe we could go a little cooler, right? This is maybe more neutral depending on, you know, what you see through the screen. Maybe we could do, I'm looking at Star. Maybe we could do Glam. Maybe so many ideas. This is what I want to do. First, on the outer corner, I want to take Phoenix from Star. Do I want to do that, or do I want to go into Love? Because we can do Heartbeat from Love, but I feel it'll look too much like what we just did on this eye. I'm going to combine both these shades from Star. That's what I'm going to do. Let me roll back in with my, you know what, the Kazan might be a little too much. So I'm going to go in with my Sonia G Lotus Worker. Tap the combination of shades on the outer V, and I'm bouncing between the two so I could get the warmth from the red but the coolness from that more magenta matte, and start to feather the edges here into the nude mauve application that we did. Back in with nude mauve to feather out the edges here. Taking more like this taupe. Do I want to do that? I do. I want to see what it looks like. I'm curious. With my Refer 28. Oh, I like that. That's a nice combination. I'm pulling it over our little matte cocktail here so we could create a nice gradient. That's pretty. We got a little cool eye going on. We got a little warm something going on. Just now tapping over the Glam metallic shade we applied. I like to go back and forth and toggle when blending, because sometimes when you add in color, you just might have to adjust, you know. For the bottom, Diadem, the gray that we applied on the inner part of the lid here, I now want to bring to the lower lash line. I don't know if that was a good idea. Maybe I should have relied on that shade for blending, not what I just did. Let's go in with the more silver shade, what's named Center Eyelid in Glam. I'm using that as the inner lower lash line moment to really bump up the coolness of the right eye. And then toggling between Phoenix and Electra from Star, I'm bringing that combination on the outer lower lash line. Because I do like Diadem here, I do. So actually, let me overlap the Center Eyelid shade more over Diadem. And then I'll bring back that matte for, ooh, please don't fall, for the final blend. Diadem now over and under everything. I'm gonna switch brushes here. Need something a little more fluff. Fix that a little bit. Oh, very nice. Putting down a little more Phoenix and Electra. Just a little bit. I want it to appear more pronounced. You know what I mean? Going back in with the outer, even though this was the outer lid shade in Glam, I'm using it as a inner lid shade. Thanks so much, Natasha. And going in with Galaxia from Star, just to mix it up. It could also be from the mini retro, but I thought, why not just put it on there. It's fine. Alrighty. Hi, eyelash curler, where are ya? I'm gonna do some mascara here now. Hitting the lashes with some Kill Lash Fist. I'll roll back into that after I hit the lashes with some Dark Star. Alright, here is the finished look. Take a look at these eyelids. And here's the final look with our little If retro wasn't here, what would we do? Analysis demo. Maybe you have these palettes as well, not necessarily Natasha Denona ones, but from other brands. And if you saw retro's color story and you're inspired to dive back into the mauves, the cool new taupe whatever shades, maroons, the burgundies, and you wanted to create looks using those shades, then have a blast. I'm still excited about retro and receiving it. When I saw the palette, I was telling my friend Dana, hi Dana, I haven't been this excited for a color story like this since bronze. I love Circo Loco, I love Zendo, but when you get into the burgundies like that as extensively as Natasha did for retro, and although I did create a makeshift retro look or two looks at that, I'm still excited to dive into retro and to combine and to compare with a lot of the shades that we showed in this video. So stay tuned. If FedEx comes on Tuesday, hopefully I can have the video up on Tuesday, if not Wednesday. You know what? We just have to go with the ebb and flow of life. FedEx. Okay. Let me know if you already picked up retro, if you have it, what you think of it, if you have these other palettes, have you combined them, comparison swatches and all that. I will see you down in the comments. And until next time, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial. Natasha Denona mashup, monthly favorites or vlog. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.